So, a bunch of previews just released today for Sony's upcoming first party title, Days Gone, which I am very excited for. I actually think it looks like a great game based off of what I've seen. Maybe that's just because I'm a sucker for zombie games. I love zombie games. I know a lot of people feel tired of it, and I know they're not zombies, they're freakers, which, if you look into it, which I had to look into it a little bit, you realize that even though on the surface it does seem like it's just zombies, they're not. They're actually like mutated, and it's a little bit different. But if I'm being honest here, I think most people are just gonna see them and immediately think they're zombies, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a post-apocalyptic game, and it's one that I'm very much looking forward to. And I think the big question that most people seem to have when it comes to Days Gone is a very simple one: is it gonna be good? And then the follow-up question is it going to be nearly as good as some of the previous titles we've been getting, some of the hard hitters like recently Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, games like that? And there's no denying that Sony Bend, which is the studio behind this game, they have a lot to live up to here, because this is going to be probably one of the only first-party titles that Sony releases this year, and they've been on a streak, and because of that, there's just a lot of pressure on this game to deliver. And the good news is a lot of people seem excited about it, and I'm happy for that, because I want to see this game succeed, because again, what I'm seeing, I'm liking so far. I know there's a lot of people who just feel really tired of the whole post-apocalyptic type thing, and that's totally understandable, but I feel like if this game, I'm not expecting it to deliver anything insane or mind-blowing, right? Or be like next level. And that's okay. I don't necessarily think it needs to be. What I am hoping for, however, is just a very solid experience. You know, I'm not somebody where every game I play needs to be mind-blowingly good and take things to the next level in order for me to even consider it. It's not like that. I mean, I've been pleasantly surprised recently with some of the games I've been playing. But at the same time, if I can just get a solid, meaty game here with content and a decent story, and the gameplay's fun and engaging, and by the time I'm finished it, I feel like that was actually really good and totally worth my $60, I will be a very happy gamer. So getting to the actual information I wanted to give to you here, because obviously I didn't get to play the game. I was not part of this preview event, obviously, but a lot of people are, and it says here, and listen to the way IGN words their title here. It says Days Gone's 30-hour campaign will reportedly be 20% cutscene. I mean, like, I don't know why they're wording that so negatively. They're implying that that's a bad thing. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan. Maybe it's because I loved MGS3 and MGS4 and pretty much all the MGS games. I love cutscenes in games, especially when they're done well. It says that the upcoming action-adventure game from Sony Bend Studio will include roughly a 30-hour campaign, and 20% of it will allegedly be made up of cutscenes. So I'm not even going to bother reading more than that. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. It discusses where they got this information from, but yeah, there's a few interesting pieces of information here. The first being that the campaign will take about roughly 30 hours to complete, which I think is really good, actually. That seems like a really good play time for a game like this. I never looked at Days Gone and thought, oh man, I'm going to play this game for over 100 hours. I mean, maybe I could. It's, who knows, but in order to just complete it and pretty much, get the full experience or most of the experience, I think 30 hours is good. And knowing that 20% of that will be cutscenes, I'm actually totally okay with that. Like, I personally love cutscenes in games. I will say, if the writing is bad, or if the characters are not interesting, or if the story's just not that engaging, which these are all things that could end up being the case, but we don't know for sure yet, then maybe watching some of these cutscenes could be a little bit of a drag. But I mean, come on, there's some games out there that literally have like triple the amount of cutscene time, and people love them. And I think that this is where, I don't know, I think this article, the way they wrote it, the way they title it, is just a little bit egregious unnecessarily. I mean, maybe the person who wrote it just simply does not like cutscenes, and so when they heard this, they thought, oh man, like, this is going to ruin Days Gone, or this is a negative part of Days Gone. But from what I'm hearing from the previews of this game so far, It seems like it's mostly positive. There's a little bit of, it's a little bit mixed. There are some individuals who played the game at a preview event recently and are not really too hot on it for certain reasons. It seems that some people find the characters somewhat uninteresting. Some people just don't find the gameplay innovative or compelling enough. But I don't know. To me, I feel like when you look at Days Gone, do you really not know what you're getting here? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but when I look at Days Gone, I feel like, okay, it's a post-apocalyptic game with creatures in it that are very similar to zombies, and there's going to be hordes of them. So if you're not into that, you're automatically probably not going to like the game. It seems to me like there are a lot of different ways to approach the game. It seems like it's very stealth heavy, which I actually think is cool. I love stealth games. So for me personally, that's actually a plus. I actually love playing games where you have the option to be stealthy. But from what I've seen, there's definitely also a lot of action in it. There's going to be a lot of moments where you're shooting a lot of hordes, you're taking out enemies, other players, and there's a lot of stuff here that seems to me what I would kind of expect. And again, I have to reiterate, for me, that's not a bad thing. Now, I can't really go super in-depth here because, again, I haven't played it. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll play it when it comes out and I'll be like, oh, this is actually not as good as I was hoping, but I don't know. I highly doubt that, I'm a sucker for zombie games, and again, I know it's not a zombie game, but I'm just going to keep calling it that. And I'm just really curious to see if Days Gone, when it comes out, when it's all said and done and the dust settles, if this game is going to be the next big first-party title from Sony. I don't think realistically it's going to be the next God of War, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be a game that people are thinking, oh, this is a Game of the Year contender. It's possible, but I just think that's unlikely. I think what it will do, though, is show that Sony can be very consistent. And Sony has been very consistent. I think that's the best way to put it with their first-party output. And I'm beginning to see that. And I think the last thing anybody wants is for this game to come out and to flop and to be terrible and to just get really low ratings and for people to just be upset with it. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't. A lot of people, believe it or not, seem very excited for Days Gone. I think it's going to get a lot of support, and I think it'll be interesting if it does get a lot of support because, Sony Bend is a studio. They really haven't been relevant for a very long time, and they've kind of been on the fringe a little bit, and this, to me, it seems like all signs are pointing that this is their last big, we need to prove our worth as a studio and show that we're still capable of making something great. And the fact that it is a new IP, to me, is probably the most exciting aspect. I'm excited to experience a new world, even if a lot of the elements of this world seem very familiar, and it seems like stuff I have experienced in the past. But I'm excited to see some new characters. The story of Deacon St. John, he seems pretty interesting to an extent. I mean, some people are getting all upset because it's another gruff white male, but, I don't know. That's not how I see it. I just see it as this is the game the developers want to make and the characters the developers want to create. He's part of a biker gang, and he had a wife, and I think it's pretty clear that something happened to her. And apparently a big part of this story is going to be seeing how he deals with it. So it's going to be really interesting to me to see how they handle that, if they can deliver on that emotional impact, or if it's just going to kind of fall flat. I think a lot of people have been comparing this game to an extent to The Last of Us for obvious reasons. I don't think it's going to be on that same level. I'm definitely not expecting to have the same type of attachment to a character like Deacon St. John as I have with Joel and Ellie. But if it can even get anywhere close to that, in my opinion, that'll be an amazing success. And overall, I'm just excited for it. Days Gone, it's coming out April 26th, so it's not too far off from now. And I've been enjoying a lot of games recently, and I will say that, yeah, it does have some big shoes to fill for sure, and I think a lot of people are just, waiting to see, is this going to be good, or is this just going to kind of be like a meh game and maybe even a pass? But for me, I'm going to be there day one. I'm looking forward to it, and it seems a lot of other people are as well. And based off of this preview coverage, it seems like, well, first off, it's going to be a pretty it's gonna have a pretty decent length when it comes to completing it. It's gonna have a significant amount of cutscenes, which I know some people might not like, but hey, for me, I'm all good. I'm good for that. I'm excited for that. I love cutscenes in games when they're done well, and it seems like there is a lot of diversity in the way you're gonna play and approach certain missions. So yeah, for me, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I have to say one last time here that I did not play the game, so do not walk away from this video thinking that I'm playing it and I'm relaying my experience playing it. I'm not. I'm just simply talking about what I've seen and what I've heard so far and why I'm still excited, because I think most people are in my shoes, right? I think most people haven't played the game yet, and they're feeling the same way I am. Like, they're still excited for it. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I didn't want to drag it out too long today, but I did really want to take a little bit of time to talk about Days Gone, my excitement for it, and kind of just point out this, really annoying IGN article making it seem like cutscenes in a game are a bad thing. Like, come on. Like, I mean, this compared to MGS4 is nothing, right? Anyway, do me a favor, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about Days Gone? What do you think about the preview coverage coming out? What do you think about the length of the campaign and the length of the cutscenes? I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. It really helps out and lets me know you guys are enjoying the content. The support you guys have been showing has been absolutely amazing, and I truly appreciate it. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon. You can be notified anytime I upload, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that, because it helps as well. But until next time, guys, take care.